Chapter 4, Lesson 2, Managing Stress. Alright, so in Chapter 4, Lesson 1, we kind of learned about what are some of those stressors in our life and kind of how our body reacts to it. Um, you know, like we pointed out before, we got to try to identify some of those stresses because once we learn and identify where the stress is coming from, we're going to learn how to manage that effectively. The second bullet point is pretty interesting because stress builds up over time, and again, if it's positive or if it's mental, it doesn't really matter. But you got to understand that if it continues to add up, um, we're going to be in a situation where it's going to take a toll on our physical or mental health, and that's what we're trying to avoid. Chronic stress, that is where where the stress is endured over long periods of time, and then we start having long-term problems, and sometimes they're beyond our control. Um, you know, Anxiety situations. Psychosomatic illnesses are kind of examples of some of those things that chronic stress can bring upon, and we want to try to manage it before it gets out of control. So, what are some of these ways or these techniques that we can try to manage our stress or avoid it? Well, first of all, a lot of us are not very good at saying no, and we have to get better at it. You guys know what your stress tolerance is. You know how much you can handle. And when people ask you to add activities to your daily life or if getting you involved in something, and kind of right away if this is even going to be able to work, a lot of times your brain is telling you there's no way that you can do this, and you have to learn how to say no. Don't be surprised if people aren't too happy about it, but understand that for your health, sometimes no is the best answer. Plan ahead. I mean, using your time wisely. Um, I'm a planner, so I tend to feel a lot better if my day, my week, my month is planned out in advance so that I kind of can know where things are coming from, when things are coming up, and I can plan accordingly. Thinking positive, we talked a lot about this already, but you know, you're going to have stressors that are going to come up that you're not going to have control over, and hopefully it's a situation where you can avoid some of the stress by thinking positively about it and trying to overcome them. And the last one is just tobacco and alcohol and other drugs. I mean, if you're trying to use chemicals to try to relieve your stress, a lot of times people will tell you that in the short term, you can probably do it, you can probably get away with it. But over time, what happens is you start relying on that way to, to relieve your stress. I mean, why are bars full on Friday nights after a long work week? Why are people becoming addicted to, mood altering chemicals and to tobacco products? Because what they find is they find a way to manage the stress, but there's healthful ways to be able to do that, that you don't have to be harming your body in the process. So what are some of those ways? I mean, we could do things like we could practice relaxation techniques. There's all kinds of stuff on the internet. In my class that meets on a daily basis, I show them lots of different activities that they can do to alleviate their stress. There's some breathing exercises. There is some laughing yoga that people do. Yoga's hot right now. I mean, literally, hot yoga is kind of the new thing where people go into a heated room and do all kinds of various stresses to try to relax themselves. Um, Redirecting your energy, just getting out and getting activity in your life. I mean, some of us don't move around a whole lot, and just by doing some yard work or by starting a project in the garage or in the basement can make us feel like some of our energy or pent up energy at least is alleviated. And then just the whole idea about seeking support, trying to find people in your life who you are able to sit down with and just, vent. Maybe not asking for advice, just for people to be able to hear you out. Maybe advice, but um, you know as well as I do, sometimes it just feels good just to kind of get everything out on the table and have people listen to what you have to say and support you in your life. Other things we can do: get adequate rest. I mean, you guys need 9 to 10 hours of sleep, which I know is hard for you, but adequate rest can really help you get through your daily demands of life a whole lot easier. I know when I have rest, I can tend to have an easier time getting through some of those stressors during my day. Physical activity, I can't stress enough that having people work out on a daily basis or just do some type of activity, again, like yard work or just getting out and doing things outside. I know for me, I'm going to start cross-country skiing this winter just to try to relieve my stress in the wintertime. I kind of feel like I don't get outside enough, and so I think that'll help quite a bit. And then just food. I mean, trying to get water into your system, trying to get your immune system so that it can stay healthy, because when we get stressed out, our immune system is compromised a lot of times, and by eating healthy we can keep our immune systems up, and so we're not prone to those little illnesses and those little sicknesses that people get when they get really stressed out.